What is going on, my friend? Welcome back to the Podcast Domination Show. And it is Louis Ryan Diaz. Just kidding. Louis Ryan Relentless Diaz. God, there'd be 2 R's in my name if that was the case. Anyways, we are covering part 3 of the 4-part framework known as LDMS, which is our framework here at the Podcast Domination Agency to help our podcasting partners go from idea to successful podcast. So the LDMS, in case you didn't catch the first 2 parts, stands for launch, distribute, monetize, scale. Today we are covering the funnest, sexiest part, which is the monetization part, right? However, before we get going, I have 2 mantras that I like to preach, and I want to share them with you because I think they're really important and they're kind of catchy. I'm honestly kind of proud of myself that I came up with these, but they're very true. So number one is downloads before dollars. There's a reason why distribution comes before monetization, because people need to hear you and that you have to provide value to people and show that you're the real freaking deal before they want to pay you. Before you get paid, you've got to provide something of service, something awesome. So downloads before dollars. Nobody gets paid if no one listens to your damn podcast. Sorry. Okay. So downloads before dollars. It's really important you remember that because you've got to be putting in the work, distributing your content, getting it out there to the people that need to hear it in order for them to pay you. The next one is plan before profits. So plan or plans before profits, meaning you need to have a clear path for your ideal avatar to move down from your podcast all the way to whatever you're selling or however you're going to help them. There needs to be a clear path and it needs to be pre-planned essentially, right? It needs to be thought out before. How is this person who just listens to me out of nowhere, who actually likes what I have to say, how are they going to get in contact with me? What's my ascension? Like, what's the ascension model from the podcast? We're going to cover I'm going to cover 3 of them with you today that I've seen work. And I'm not going to cover, first of all, if you think this is about sponsorships, this is not. I have a 7 key monetization model training that I give away with the book. It's the automatic revenue episode. It's actually a bonus episode. It's not on the podcast. It was with my free book, my free plus shipping book, which came out a few months ago. If you want the training, but you don't give a shit about the book, totally cool. I'm not going to get offended. If you want the training, just email me, Luis, Luis, at podcastdomination.co, no M.co, and I will give you that training. I'll give it to you for free for being an awesome action taker and actually taking the time to email me and ask me for that, right? So yeah, do that, or just hit me up on Instagram at Louis Ryan Diaz. If you want that 7 key monetization model training, it comes free with the bonus. It's free with the book if you buy the book, but I'll give that to you for free anyways. But I'm not going to post it here on the podcast because I want you to do some damn work to get it. So yeah. So if you want that, that's great. That covers a bit more into 7 key models you can use. We're not going to cover that today. Today, we're going to cover the 6-figure podcasting funnel, which is essentially a plan that I recommend you build out before trying to make money with your podcast. And all the 3 use cases or examples I'm going to share with you today are non-direct monetization models, meaning you're not making money directly from the podcast, meaning like you're not getting paid for sponsors, which is totally cool. And I know people who crush that model and they do really well with it. And this is not for that kind of person. So mainly I say that because that takes normally longer unless you're with a network that already has sponsors that you can plug into. It's going to be much harder to get sponsors, or if you don't already have existing sponsors. And even then they're kind of gun shy about podcasting if they haven't done it before. And then you don't know the numbers and you don't know the details of the contracts and you don't understand how much to charge for the pre-roll and the mid-roll and the outro. And should you do, CPA or CPM model, all that shit. So like, we're not going to cover that. If you want that to be covered, we can do another day. We're going to cover the indirect models, indirect frameworks, what I'm calling the 6-figure podcasting funnel, which is what we map out with our new podcasters. Whenever they come through, we figure out this stuff. And most of them are coaches, consultants, successful entrepreneurs who already have back-end products and systems. That's who we work with. People who already have funnels and things going on, right? They have products that are proven, that are ethical, that are working for their customers. So this is definitely, to preface this, you want to make sure you have funnels working. You want to make sure you have a good website, a strong social media, an email list. This is all important because podcasts do not operate in a vacuum. Podcasts are a part of the ecosystem that you build online. It's a big, big part, but it does not operate on its own. Okay. So that's just super important. It goes in tandem with your Facebook groups and your Instagram and your email list and everything else you're doing online, paid strategy, all that stuff. So I know that was a lot I just threw at you, right? There's a lot of disclaimers. But anyways, let's jump into it, right? So podcast monetization, we're talking here, the indirect models. This is super important because like we said, if you don't have a plan, then no one's going to know how to pay you. No one is going to know how to reach you because you're not going to have the links and the system set up to help someone who's putting their hand up to get them from warm lead to booked call to closed client to happy client, right? So let's just jump into it here. I don't want to waste too much time. So number one, I'm just going to read the exact flow of how this would go if you're a podcaster. Maybe let's say, let's do the first one for people who have, let's say, a book that maybe is a free plus shipping book like mine, or you have a book that's just a high value piece that's a credibility piece for making you the expert in your industry. And maybe you also have events and a mastermind behind this. So how I would structure your podcast is A, you have awesome free content that drives people to learn more about what you do and how you help people into a free Facebook group. So it goes from podcast to Facebook group where you're sending all the people on your outro to go to the Facebook group. How you can do that is by giving a lead magnet and saying, hey, the lead magnet or whatever you're selling or giving away for free is in the Facebook group. So if you're not joined already, make sure you join the Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, type in blah, blah, blah. So you're driving people from the podcast to the Facebook group. And now, and just a forewarning, most people, 95% of people are not going to go on the first time they hear that. So you have to do it over and over and over again. You've got to keep running that and see if it's working. Now, make sure also that whatever you're giving away is actually of value. It needs to be a checklist, a cheat sheet, a guide, a script, something that's high value that they can just take and use right now. And now you've got them in your Facebook group. Once you get them to the Facebook group, you can also give them, once they enter, like have a private Facebook group so you can kind of open the conversation with people. You can open the conversation and offer them a low ticket book. Maybe you have a book like mine was $9. You can give them that or sell them that or however you want to do it, either through email or just through the Facebook group or just sending them a DM, say, hey, if you want the book, it's $9 or whatever. So from the Facebook group, it goes to that low ticket item. It doesn't have to be a book. I'm just giving an example there. It could be a low ticket course or a low ticket video if you sell like content, whatever it may be. From the low ticket book, it would upsell to maybe, let's just say, a higher mid ticket course, maybe $1,000, maybe $1,500, whatever the case may be. Maybe you're a consultant and you're teaching other people how to be consultants like you. So that's $1,000 to $1,500 course. Maybe it's done with you. Another option for that after that low ticket item could be an event. So maybe you have one or two live events you do a year or maybe more. I've got a lot of people who do multiple events, 3, 4, 5, 6, even more events per year. And they get a lot of people from their Facebook groups or Facebook pages. You can do the same thing, but they come in from the podcast, then they go to the Facebook group, then they get this low ticket item, and then they get whether it's, the course or they get the event. So we could go podcast, Facebook group, low ticket, then mid ticket course or event. And then finally upsells into a mastermind where it's like $20,000 or $30,000 or $50,000 a year. If you had one person, just one person in 6 months of podcasting go through that funnel and they became a mastermind client, let's just say 20 grand at the low end, right? That would definitely be a profitable ROI for your podcast. Because I don't charge them 20 grand, at least not yet, for 6 months of podcasting. So it's probably going to be a good ROI if just one person finds you extremely valuable and expert in your space and they believe you and they trust you and you nurture them through that process. So that's an example of someone who has a high ticket mastermind who could definitely do this. Next one I'm going to do is a shorter version of this. That is if you're great at sales or if you have an awesome sales team, if you guys are great at what you do, then this may be a better option for you. And I have some clients who do this. Now, you could have still the same awesome podcast. However, the call to action is now a book a free call action. I've done this myself and it works. So you have great value, great content, and then you offer to give someone a free call. This is not a sales call essentially. This is let's find out how I can help you. And then you actually help the person on the call. And then you offer if they're interested, if they want to learn more, and usually you can tell it's a good sale if they're asking for you, if they're asking, like, tell me about your services, blah, blah, blah. So that call can either be shut down right away if they're not a fit, or it could potentially be a good prospect call. So podcast sends them to a free call, give great value. If they want to learn more, great. You can talk to them about that and then potentially sell them into, let's just say, a mastermind and a one-time sit-in for your mastermind. If it's not a fit for them right now, but hey, maybe you just want to see what it's about. You can come for maybe $2,000 and you can see if it's a fit for you. Or a downsell to that would be a course, or maybe just the recordings from that, from the event, right? So you could sell the mastermind, downsell. If they're not open for that, they could do a one-time sit-in, or they could do a course. Let's just say, worst case scenario, you get 2 people who just buy the course at $1,000. You just made $2,000 from a podcast. So podcast, free call, and then sell to a mastermind, one-time call, or a course if they are fit. A lot of times you're going to get people who are not fit, who just can't afford it or just not the right thing for them. Of course, if you have a good network, you can refer them out to other people, potentially make an affiliate commission if they're not a fit for you, but maybe a fit for someone else, right? So lots of ways you could spin this. The last one I'm going to share here is the challenge method. So I work with a lot of people in the fitness space. That's where I come from. So challenges are hot. If you have a good product, a very specific niche, and you're talking to, I wouldn't say that. No, I'd say if you have a good challenge, and you get good results, you can use the podcast as a way to broadcast results and share experiences and stories from your clients who have gone through your challenge. And then you can have a call to action to send people to that challenge. That challenge could be free. That challenge could be paid. It doesn't really matter. It's totally up to your business model. So from there, you could go podcast, send them to a low ticket challenge. Maybe it's $100, $200, whatever, 30 days, get them great results. And then most challenges have an upsell to a 6-month coaching or a year coaching, whatever the case may be. Let's say that coaching is $7,000 to $10,000. Let's say one person in 6 months converts. And let's just say you had 7 people convert to the low ticket challenge at $100. So from the podcast to low ticket challenge of $100, we had 7 people. So that's $700. And that podcast, the raw costs of your podcast are production and editing and your hosting fees. I don't think, it depends on who you're dealing with. You'd probably be okay there if you have an internal team or whatever the case may be. So low ticket item, let's just say on a very pessimistic route, 7 people convert, right? And then one person converts to a $7,000 client for 6 months. So all in all, profit wise or revenue wise, you've made $7,700. You've got probably a lot more leads than just 7 leads, but let's just say a very pessimistic route. You have 7 new leads. One of them's a good client, and then the other 6 are potentially clients in the future. So that is not too bad from podcasting, which is basically free after you publish it. So those are just 3 examples of funnels that can lead you to 7 figures. Let's just say, or 6 figures, sorry. Let's say you pour gasoline on the fire and you also do podcast guesting and you're a guest on multiple podcasts throughout the month. Imagine if you got 1 or even 2 more people per month going through that funnel and converting. If you have a high ticket mastermind, this could literally equate to tens of thousands of extra dollars in revenue. If you have a lower ticket item, this could still equate to a decent amount of money. So I think it's really important to think this stuff out, right? Like write on a map. Okay, from the podcast, where do they go? They go to a Facebook group? Do they go to a book, a free call? Do they go to a low ticket challenge? Whatever the case may be. From there, what's next? Where would my ideal customer go? And then, what's the step after that, and so on and so forth. So make sure guys, remember, plans before profits. We got to plan this stuff out. And then next, downloads before dollars. We got to get people downloading this show. So I hope that was helpful for you. I know for me personally, when I mapped this stuff out in my own business, my own podcast, I was like, oh, that's much more clear now. I love it doing this with other podcasters as well as the new ones we have coming through the doors all the time. So make sure you re-listen to this episode if you need help, or reach out to me if you need help with your podcasting funnel. And remember, like I said, plans before profits, downloads before dollars. That was part 3 of the LDMS system. If you are more of a person who's geared towards sponsorship, like we have a few clients doing that, feel free to reach out to me if you need help there or questions there. If I can help you, I know I sure as hell can find some people who can, and I'm more than happy to do that for you. So without further ado, catch you later. Peace. Hey, and don't forget, I have a number of free bonuses for you. Yes, these are free templates, guides, and stuff that I've actually included in my recent book, How to Get Your First 100,000 Downloads in 100 Days. But you don't even have to buy the book. I'm just going to give this to you for free. All you have to do is go to LuisRyan, LuisRyan.com/book. There is a simple form where you fill out your name and your email, and you get a ton of free stuff, all the templates and guides that I included in the book, but you don't have to buy the book. So you're saving yourself a chunk of money that literally will take you probably less than 2 minutes to accomplish or perform. So enjoy that. That's my gift to you. Use it. Don't just let it fall by the wayside, and I'll see you on the next episode.